And for most people who look at this, the argument is done right then. It's sealed. But what happens, especially after we had the Valentine's Day massacre in South Florida, we have people who immediately go, people don't need to have this type of gun.
Yeah.
Instead of addressing the real issue that's behind what happened to that guy in South Florida. This guy right now is sitting in a jail while other people are taking the limelight, distracting the conversation to what the real problem, cause, and eventually the effect of that happened in South Florida, which had nothing to do with an inanimate object. And yet we get so sidetracked and say, well, if we have better restrictions on this inanimate object, South Florida wouldn't have happened. And that's just not true.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we should establish right now that when we're talking about what happened in South Florida, the Stoneman Douglas High School, right? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
Yeah. With 19-year-old person, we don't have to mention them specifically. But what happened, I think we should establish that children getting shot is about the most horrifying thing I can imagine. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, of course.
Yeah. So, there's no question about that. So let's take a look at that, and let's think about the different ways that could have been avoided. I believe there were roughly maybe, 30 or so instances where enforcement of different types, like different types of law enforcement, heard about this person doing things that are really concerning. What do you think could have helped to prevent this, Gator?
Well, there's a lot of issues that go down to this. You start with the individual himself. He had a pretty horrendous past between his natural birth parents and then his foster parents. He has a very traumatic story, and my heart really does feel for him. The sad part is that for several years he was calling out for help.
Yeah.
He even to the point after his foster mother died last October and November, reached out to the police saying, I am concerned about myself. I'm concerned that I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this was after the 30 or 40 times that the local authorities, police, sheriff, even the FBI, who had been involved, had been notified, had come out to his house. All of the signs were there, that this guy was literally crying out for help in some way. And people around him were saying, hey, this guy's, he's gone through some heavy stuff. And rightfully so. He really did. If you know his story, he went through some heavy stuff. Now, it doesn't justify his behavior, but he went through some heavy stuff where people really need to step up and say, hey, buddy, you've kind of been through something. What can I do for you? And yes, it's come up, including one of the new spokespeople that's going around. It turns out that even by her own admittance, she was one of the people that bullied him through school. And she admits this. And it's like, okay, so this is part of that problem where his peers were also pushing, maybe not aware of his own traumatic personal life story, but they were pushing, and that didn't help, that added to it. But the fact that the FBI, the sheriff, the police were all aware of this, family, friends, school members, fellow students, all were aware of this guy's situation. In a sense, if you want to be pointing the finger, it's not the inanimate object of whatever weapon he used. If you want to point fingers, obviously you should start with him, which a lot of the people, especially mainstream media, they're not. They're not talking about him at all.